In August 2025, Indonesia's streets erupted. What began as anger over unfair taxes and lavish perks for politicians quickly spiraled into one of the largest protests since the fall of Suharto in 1998.
But this isn't just about money, it was democracy itself and whether the government still listens to the will of its own people.
Indonesia is often called the world's third largest democracy, home to over 500 ethnic groups and more than 700 languages. But under the surface, cracks have been spreading for years.
In 2025, Indonesia ranked 56 out of 100 in the Global Democracy Index, branding it as partly free. For many, this is what they feel.
When President Prabowo boasted of 5% economic growth, MPs cheered and even danced. But ordinary Indonesians, struggling with layoffs, rising taxes, and stagnant wages, saw this as proof that their leaders were living in another world.
On paper, Indonesia looks stable. Inflation under 2%, its poverty rate at its lowest in 20 years. But behind statistics, there was a stark reality.
Unemployment climbed to 4.76%, the highest in Southeast Asia. Millions were forced into the informal sector where jobs are unstable and rights are few. And new taxes, some rising by as much as 1,200%, hit families already on the edge. By mid-August, protests over tax hikes were spreading nationwide. But the turning point came on August 28th.
Afan Kurniawan, a 21-year-old online taxi driver, was struck and killed by a police tactical car. He wasn't even part of the protest. He was simply caught in the chaos.
His death lit the spark. Thousands joined his funeral. Hashtags like Polisi Musuh Bersama and Polisi Pembunuh trended across the nation. Afan became the symbol of injustice.
Representatives is set to review a list of 17 short-term demands laid out by demonstrators before tomorrow's deadline. This includes
By August 29th, Indonesia was ablaze. Police headquarters, parliament buildings, and even the historic Gerahadi State Building in Surabaya was set on fire.
And when protesters stormed lawmakers' home, they found access. From luxury watches, land deeds, and even a life-size superhero action figure. For many Indonesians, these images confirm what they have already believed, that the elites lived in obscene wealth while ordinary people struggled to survive.
The human toll was devastating. By early September, 10 people were dead, including students, a pedicab driver overcome by tear gas, and bystanders beaten after being mistaken for spies.
These deaths turned anger into a demand for justice. But would the government deliver?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera bagi kita sekalian. Shalom, salve, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya. Saudara-saudara sekalian, saya telah mengikuti perkembangan beberapa hari ini, terutama peristiwa tadi malam, di mana ada demonstrasi yang mengarah kepada tindakan-tindakan anarkis. Juga ada peristiwa di mana petugas telah menabrak satu orang pengemudi ojol, yang mengakibatkan pengemudi ojol tersebut, almarhum Afan Kurniawan, tadi malam meninggal dunia.
President Prabowo released a pre-recorded speech. He promised investigations. Police officials apologized. Parliament revoked the allowance.
But critics saw this as half measures. 7 officers, those who killed Afan Kurniawan, received just only 20 days of disciplinary punishments. And crucially, President Prabowo himself never personally apologized. For many, this silence deepens the divide.
Out of chaos came clarity. Activists drafted the 17+8 People's Demands, which includes 17 urgent actions that should be done by September the 5th, which includes ending police brutality, stopping new taxes, and guaranteeing living wages, which also includes 8 structural reforms that should be done by August 31st, 2026, which includes seizing corrupt wealth, reforming parliament, and strengthening judicial independence.
This was more than a protest. It was a vision for a different Indonesia, one where democracy serves the people, not the politicians.
The world noticed. ASEAN lawmakers urged Indonesia to protect human rights. The UN called for investigations. Citizens in neighboring countries voiced solidarity online.
But with activists still being arrested and missing persons unaccounted for, the question remains, is Indonesia heading towards reform or repression?
Menuntut pertanggungjawaban penuh kepada Presiden Prabowo Subianto.
The protests of 2025 weren't just about wages or taxes. They were about the soul of Indonesian democracy, and the world is watching to see which path Indonesia will take.
Tidak berpihak kepada rakyat serta memperkeruh.
If you find this analysis valuable, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow Sidophile on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, X, and of course Substack for deeper dives into Southeast Asia. And don't forget, we are Sidophile, understanding the issues of the most based Asians. Thank you and goodbye.